What happens in our brain and our body when we're feeling under stress? So, taking a moment to reflect on a time in your life when you have been challenged, been required to do something difficult, maybe even a time when you felt under threat. And for some of us, this might be things like spiders or being in enclosed spaces. For others of us, it's public speaking, it's being in a classroom, particularly if we've had really poor educational experiences. What was happening in your brain and your body as you were in this moment of stress and difficulty? Some of the things that you might have noticed would be a narrowing of focus. Perhaps even your vision became narrower. Certainly, what you would focus on in the environment would be very much directed towards the potential threat. This is a really adaptive response to threat. It's built in to our nervous system as an evolutionary adaptation. All sentient beings have this fight, flight, freeze response. We move towards things that will help us survive, and we move away from or fight those things that are threatening to our existence. So, of course, we're no longer necessarily facing tigers or mammoths. We're facing quite chronic stresses, and many of those can be about our relationships with other people. We're very much social creatures. And in those environments, what other people think about us, whether we're evaluated highly, they also matter to us. This is also part of the mammalian evolutionary adaptation, which is to be very concerned about our social connections, particularly for humans. Our strength isn't in our sharp teeth or our armor, it is in our ability to be part of a group. So often, the threats that we're facing are around that social connection and disconnection, and learning and education, being smart or not smart, being good at something or not good at something, potentially opening ourselves up to ridicule, to evaluation by others, all of which are often part of our learning and education experiences. These are things that can really set off our stress system. So, what happens in the brain when we are experiencing this stress? It's really useful to simplify our brain, which is, of course, an incredibly complex structure. But if we break it down a little, it can be very helpful to understand what's happening in our brain when we're feeling stress. So this is a really simple hand model of the brain. This is our brain stem. This is our limbic system tucked in here. And then over the top of this is our thinking mind. Now, the brain stem and the limbic system are finely tuned to threat. And when they experience threat, they automatically push us into fight, flight, or freeze. The other part of what happens is that this thinking mind becomes disconnected. We don't want to be evaluating, we are categorizing, we don't want to be engaging in those higher order thinking functions. We need to be moving quickly in a way that keeps us safe. So this disconnection between the stress experience and our thinking mind means that all the functions of this thinking mind, our reason, our ability to listen, our social engagement skills, all of these are here in this thinking part of the mind. So when we're in stress, it's not just that we are experiencing these strong urges, which may be overwhelming our body with cortisol, tightening our muscles, narrowing our focus. It also means that those higher order functions simply aren't available to us. Now, if you're in a classroom and this is happening and you're experiencing this stress response, listening, sitting still, recalling information, engaging with teachers or your peers, they're not actually accessible to us. So this gives us a really important way forward for creating a safe environment for people in which to learn. When we understand what's happening in the brain, we understand that this is often beyond our immediate control. With time, we can learn what is happening and we can respond differently. As educators, we can help people respond differently. We can help them reconnect this thinking part of our minds in order to be able to access the brain functions that are important for learning. So beginning with understanding what's happening in the brain and the body, and understanding that a vital part of our role as educators is to reconnect this part of the brain, and to know that when people are experiencing this stress response, they're not being difficult, they're not disengaged, they're not poor learners, they're just in stress. That changes the kinds of interventions that we will undertake with them.